Hello, I'm Jane, chocolatier at Davenport's Chocolates. Today on Chocolate TV, I'm going to show you how to make your own Easter egg. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating how to use one of our Easter egg making kits. These are available in milk, white and dark chocolate. I'm going to be demonstrating in milk chocolate today, but the principles are the same for all of them. In this kit, you will get cellophane and ribbons for wrapping your finished egg in, greaseproof paper for working with, some chocolates to eat along with, gold sprinkles for decorating with, honeycomb pieces that you can put inside the chocolate for your egg, some extra chocolate for decorating with, some raspberry pieces that you can use in your egg or for decoration, 2 egg moulds, a piping bag with some truffle mixture in, and some truffle spheres. These are wrapped in bubble wrap and you just need to gently prise off the sellotape or snip through it with some scissors. And the spheres come in with a covering on the top which you just need to gently peel off, and then your main bulk of chocolate to mould and melt to mould your egg with. If you get the milk chocolate kit that I'll be using today, everything is in milk chocolate apart from the white chocolate, which is for decoration. If you've got the white chocolate kit, everything is in white chocolate and milk chocolate is for decoration. If you get the dark chocolate kit, everything is vegan, so we've got everything in dark chocolate, including the chocolates to nibble. Piping the truffles. The first thing we're going to do to pipe the truffle mixture is to warm the mixture in the piping bags. To do this, you can either microwave it or submerge it in hot water. I'm going to microwave this, and if you do, you need to just make sure you remove the metal tag. I'm going to microwave this for 10 seconds and that will soften it up. If it needs to go even softer, just increase it by 5-second increments as you go. My microwave is 900 watts and I'm doing it on full power for 10 seconds. What you're looking for in the piping bag is the mixture to be all soft so that you can squidge it. If it's not soft, then just pop it in the microwave for a further 5 seconds until it is. When you do, make sure you twist the end so that it keeps it tight, and then just hold that in your hand, ready just to snip the end off with some scissors. You want to cut a maybe 3mm hole on the end so that there's enough room for the mixture to come out. A couple of general piping tips. You want to hold the piping bag in the hand that you would normally write with, and then your other hand you want to use as a support for the piping bag. You then want to gently put the piping bag right inside the sphere and push from the hand that you would normally write with until it comes right to the top, and then lift it up using your supporting hand. So you're squeezing it from the back so that the mixture squeezes out, and then stopping squeezing when you want it to stop. You can put the piping bag right inside and then lift it upwards a little bit as you come to the top. Once you've piped your truffle spheres, if you can just pop them in the fridge so that they can set a little bit quicker, that would be great. Moulding the egg. We've provided enough chocolate in the kit to make 2 Easter eggs. We've also provided honeycomb pieces and freeze-dried raspberry pieces. Now you can use these either to go in the chocolate to make the chocolate Easter eggs, or you can save it for decoration, or you can do both. So you might want to, for example, do 1 Easter egg that just has honeycomb pieces in and 1 Easter egg that just has raspberry pieces in. Or you might want to do both Easter eggs with the honeycomb and the raspberry pieces, which is what I'm going to do today. To make the first Easter egg, we're going to use half the chocolate. So pour half of the chocolate into a heat-proof bowl. We're then going to need to warm the chocolate up, and you can either do this over a bain-marie, using a pan of hot water and placing it on top, and then stirring that while it heats until there are still about 1/3 of the chocolate in lumps and then remove it from the heat and stir the last few in. The other method is to use a microwave and to heat the chocolate in small increments and slowly warm that up, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate now. I'm going to be warming this up for 30 seconds on full power. It's had 30 seconds in the microwave. It doesn't look very different, but I'm still going to give it a stir to make sure that the heat is evenly distributed. I'm then going to microwave it for a further 30 seconds. Again, give it another stir and then microwave it for a further 20 seconds. It's just begun to melt now, so I'm stirring it after its 20-second heat in the microwave. It's going to need another 20 seconds and bursts of 20 seconds until it's got a little bit more liquid. So I'm going to return that to the microwave again. This has now had 2 bursts of 30 and a further 2 bursts of 20 seconds. It's getting even more melted, but still not runny. So I'm going to give it another 20 seconds. The point that you're looking for is to still be able to see lumps in the chocolate. So it needs to be partly molten, but have about a third of the lumps still there. And you want to stir those last third in. It might be easier to use a whisk if you've got one, just to stir the last lumps in. Just keep stirring, just keep stirring. I hope it doesn't use that. That can go in the outtakes. When all your lumps are stirred in, you're ready to add the inclusions. So I'm going to add half of my honeycomb pieces. And about a quarter of my raspberry pieces, because I want to save some of these for my decorations as well. So I'm going to stir those in. And then you want to get your egg moulds and also get some greaseproof paper. And we'll do these one at a time. And you want to pour about half your mixture into one of your egg moulds. And then you want to swirl it round so that it comes over the edge. So that it's fully covered, and then you want to tip the remaining excess back into your bowl. And if you shake that up and down a little bit, that'll just help the excess chocolate dribble out. And then leave that this way up to set, and do the same with your other one. Oops. And we're going to do 2 layers on the chocolate Easter eggs, so this is going to be the first layer. And then again, shake any excess out. You can tap the ridges on the edge of the bowl if you need to. And leave those to set. They should take 1 or 2 minutes to set. You can pop them in the fridge if you want to quicken that process up. The chocolate in the Easter egg moulds is beginning to set already. I want to just zap the chocolate in my bowl to keep this molten ready for the second layer. So I've just scraped it all back down to the middle, and I'm just going to put that in the microwave for 5 seconds just to keep that nice and warm. So this chocolate's still nice and fluid after it's 5 seconds in the microwave. You want to be really careful that you don't overheat the chocolate, because if you do, it won't set very well. If you want to do a very quick test of this, which is very nice to do, you can check this against your internal body temperature by having a little spoonful of it, and if it tastes cool inside your mouth, it's probably still the right temperature. If it feels warm, then it might just have gone a little bit hot and you might want to stir a few more of the chocolate buttons in to cool it down again. So I'm going to divide this mixture between the two eggshells that we've got here. And exactly the same as before, I'm going to swirl it round. If you need to tap it as you go, that can help it reach all the edges. You want it to come over the rim a little bit, and that will just help it to be stronger. And you want to leave it to set this way up, so that any excess chocolate will drain towards the edges of the mould. If you press those down as you do so, that will just help the chocolate at the rim not to be too thick, because we're going to need to trim that off. And if you leave that for about between 30 seconds and a minute, and then we just begin to prise the edge up, because we want to catch it just before it's fully set so that we can scrape the edges off really easily. So I'm just going to check if this is beginning to set. So I'm just going to peel that paper off. And you can see that this bit is set even though the centre isn't set. So it is at a good stage for just being able to scrape the edges. I'm going to use a sharp knife, and you want to be careful you don't scratch the plastic. But if you can just gently scrape against the plastic. I'm having to sort of cut through the honeycomb pieces that are on the edge as well. And we're going to save these trimmings to make a little base for the egg to sit on when we've finished. So nibble a few, but save some as well. And if you can, be really careful you don't scratch the mould, because hopefully you can use this time and time again as well. So that's the first one done, and now it can be left to set completely. If you pop those in the fridge for half an hour, and then you need to repeat that with your second egg. You can use the same bowl that you have been using, but you will need to save some of the scrapings to make a base right at the end of it for it to sit on as well. Decorating the egg. There are lots of ways that you can decorate your egg. We would normally decorate the front half of the egg, and to choose whether you would like to pipe something a little bit abstract and put sprinkles on top, or whether to pipe a pattern or to pipe a design. And you can come up with your own designs and be as creative as you can be with that. The other way is to seal the eggs together and then to dribble the chocolate on top and put the sprinkles on from there. So it's been about 45 minutes and I've taken these out of the fridge. They've begun to release from the mould, and you can see that because the colour's just changed. It's not stuck to the mould anymore. And as chocolate sets, it shrinks, and it just means that these actually will drop out of the moulds, and you can just lift them up and the moulds will come off very easily. If they do need a little bit of help, you can just flex the plastic a little bit as well. If you get your spheres out as well at this stage, because we're going to decorate the spheres and the Easter egg at the same time. I'm going to melt the chocolate for decorating the Easter eggs and sealing and decorating the chocolate spheres now. You need to have all 4 half shells ready now. So I've got my 2 here, but you will have 4 ready by this stage. So I'm going to pour the chocolate into a heat-proof bowl again. It's a smaller amount of chocolate, so however you melt the chocolate, you'll need to do it in a smaller amount of time. So I'm going to microwave it for 2 bursts of 20 seconds to start with. This has had 2 bursts of 20 seconds. It doesn't look any different yet, but I am going to reduce now to 10-second bursts so that I don't overheat it. This has had 4 bursts of 10 seconds in the microwave, and it's just beginning to go a little bit more melted. I'm just still doing this in very small gradual bursts because I really don't want it to overheat because it's such a small amount. After a further 2 bursts in the microwave, it's really beginning to melt more now. And as like with a lot of microwaving, it will carry on a little bit afterwards. So when you're getting to this stage, it is worth just stirring it for a little bit, just to see how much those lumps melt. And I can just tell that it's not quite runny enough to melt all those lumps, so I'm just going to give it a 5-second burst, which might be the last one. So the last 5 seconds has just really got them to a point where they're all only just melting. So you can just see that they're still in lumps, but I can tell that those are going to melt down as I stir it. Again, if you want to use a whisk at this stage just to get rid of those last few lumps, you can. And then we're going to put the chocolate into a piping bag. So if you get the piping bag that's in your set, and if you find a mug or a cup that you can open it into, just put your hand in the middle to open it out, and then drag the edge of the piping bag round the back of the mug, and then just pour your chocolate in. And then if you draw the edges up together, shake it down a little bit and twist it around the chocolate. You might want to prep your decoration by just tipping it into a little ramekin so that it's easy to get to, or just pouring it out onto your work surface. And then when you've got your piping bag nicely twisted, you're again just going to want to snip the end of that. And then for the spheres, if you pipe into the circle at the top, you can do a sort of swirling action, and this is what you can use some of your decoration for as well. Put a few on those. Might want to add a little bit extra. The easiest type of design that you can do is to do a drizzle of quite an abstract design. So I'll demonstrate that first. If the nozzle of your piping bag begins to clog up, you might just need to press that out, just so that it's flowing nicely when you're ready to go. So you simply hold your piping bag and drizzle it over. And then you can just add your sprinkles to that. You can use the gold ones and the raspberry ones. But if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, you can pipe a design as well. So if I was to pipe a flower, for example, pipe a centre, and then I'd pipe the edges. And then you could put some colour into the middle of the flower. And you could pipe little dots around. So there should be enough chocolate to decorate both your Easter eggs, but obviously you don't need to decorate the backs. Finishing the egg. To seal the 2 eggs together, I'm going to fill this pan up with hot water from the kettle and place a clean baking tray on top. That's going to warm the baking tray up enough that we can put one of the eggs on top of it, so it just gently melts it enough for it to be sealed to the other one. So that might just take a minute or two just to get warm enough that it's going to melt the chocolate. So it's just getting there. So if you take your egg up, and you might just need to knock a few bits of the edge decoration off, and put 6 of your chocolates inside. And obviously the other 6 will be for the other egg. And then take the back of your egg and place that on the baking tray and just press it down very lightly for maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and it's just melted round the edge of that, enough that when you put that on top, it will just stick. And you'll probably just need to keep it at that, keep it horizontal just for maybe a minute or two so that it can be sticking. To finish your egg off, we're going to make a small plinth for it to sit on. And I'm going to do that by melting down the leftovers from when we were moulding the chocolate egg. So I'm going to use the same bowl and microwave it in small bursts, similar to when I was melting down the decorating chocolate. I've got the chocolate now to the point where it's melted down. This has still got a few lumps in because it's got the raspberry pieces and the honeycomb in, and there's just a few last bits of chocolate that are still melting. This is again really critical that you don't overheat the chocolate. So I did this in a 30-second burst and then a 20-second burst and then 2 more bursts of 10 seconds. But it does depend how much chocolate you've got left as to how much time you need to leave it for. And once you've done that, you just need to pour it out into a circle and then leave it to set for a little bit of time. And then when it's just beginning to set at the edges, you can put your Easter egg onto it. I've just left this for a minute or two, and the edges are just beginning to go sort of more matte, which is a way that you can see that they're setting. I'm going to bring my egg over and I'm going to sit it right in the middle and then push it down into the puddle. I've accidentally made quite a big puddle. You need to make 2 smaller puddles for both your eggs. And you'll probably feel it just begin to hold its own. And then you'll just need to leave it to set for a few more minutes before you can wrap it up. Wrapping and ribboning the egg. So finally, to wrap your egg, you need to get a nice wide open space on your tabletop and then lay one of your sheets of cellophane out. And you want to point the Easter egg, you want to place it in the middle of the cellophane, but have the front of it pointing diagonally towards where one of the corners is. And then you want to bring that side up and bring the other edge up from behind it and make a sort of twin peaks of those. And then hold those together with one hand and then go for your other corner and bring that up to the top as well. Then again hold that all with one hand and then fold in your last corner. You might need to shake it down to bring it up smoothly again. And then you want to gather all of that in one hand and hold it in a position you're comfortable with. Choose which ribbon you'd like. And you need to wrap that round the egg while still holding the cellophane tightly. If it loosens off a bit because you need to use both hands, that's fine, because you can gather it together in a moment. And then pull both the ends tight so that it gathers the cellophane nicely. I'm going to bring it round to the front and tie another small knot. And then you can make it into a bow. There we go. And if you want to trim your ribbons off, you can just trim them off too. I really hope this video has been helpful. We'd love to see pictures of your creations, so do post pictures on social media. And also, please do comment, like and subscribe to our Davenport's Chocolates YouTube channel. Thank you.